video on something that's going to take a little bit of explaining, but hopefully it'll make sense and I'll do it relatively easily. Although I'm just making it up as I go along, there is no script. So these are the vinegar pots from work. They're like chips where I do the catering. Like proper chips, hand cut ones. I did a video on it. It'll be in the probably potato section, like the best chips. Bit of a faff, but they really like these chips at work, and it won't stop me from getting fired. But there we go. That's another story. So they have chips on a regular basis, but still, this vinegar is, because the tops are open. It's vinegar is exposed to the air. And over time, if we're not meeting for, if there's no kind of chip functions on for a few months, especially over the summertime when I don't work as much, the vinegar goes off. Well, people would say it goes off. It doesn't really go off. What happens is that it just becomes less vinegary. And I noticed when I was a kid that my mum's vinegar pot had like a gelatinous thing in the bottom. It looked a bit snotty, and that's what happened with these vinegar pots. They developed a little bit of a gelatinous snotty thing in the bottom, and this is what was in the bottom of one of the vinegar pots. And this actually is a vinegar mother. So this is what a vinegar forms from, that gelatinous snotty thing. Now what happens is the vinegar then becomes less acidic and not as vinegary over time. So you kind of have to throw it away. You have to wash out the pots, throw them away. And because I don't like wasting anything and I'm curious about things, I thought, well, we'll keep the mother and we'll do something with it. So I've got an experiment going already with part of the mother. And then because I don't like waste, there's nothing wrong. I don't think I've got one for me. Any vinegar? No, I don't think there's anything forming. So there's none of these that are forming, but maybe no. So I don't like waste, and there's nothing wrong with vinegar, but it's not suitable for putting on chips because it's lost its acidity. Now, so what I did was I took the vinegar out of the vinegar pots, cleaned them out, put fresh vinegar in, but I didn't throw the vinegar away. I thought, well, there'll come a time when I need to make something and I need some vinegar, so I might as well keep that. So I thought, well, I won't throw the vinegar away. I'll use it in something when I am making some brown sauce or some kind of condiment or a gas reduction. I'll save that vinegar, and that's this vinegar, and I'll use it. So I was making something the other day and thought, oh, it's a good opportunity to use this waste vinegar up. It's not as acidic, but it just means we can, we'll just throw it in. And then I kind of thought, well, we'll just taste it. So I tasted it, and it tasted kind of quite remarkable. It's like malt vinegar is just acidic. There's no real kind of flavour to it. But so, and it's only really it's suitable for is putting on chips and making a gas reduction, or putting in a condiment, a brown sauce, or a pickle, something like that. But that has flavour profile has changed and quite delicious. So I was kind of thinking, well, that's kind of quite interesting. And if I'm interested in something, I want to have a bit of an experiment. So what we're going to do is we are going to keep that vinegar for, we're going to try and replicate that vinegar, and we're going to do it two different kind of ways. What we're going to do is we're going to take this vinegar has been in those pots for maybe 2 or 3 months, so that's already kind of on the way to forming a mother. So we're going to use that vinegar from those, and we're going to add the mother. We'll taste the vinegar first. See what it tastes like. See if it just tastes like. Yeah, it just tastes like malt vinegar. It's just not very nice to taste, but it's losing a little bit of its acidity. So we'll take that vinegar and that mother and put it in a bottle, and we will leave it exposed to the air. So we'll put a bit of cloth over the top of the bottle like that and secure it with a rubber band. And then we'll just leave it and we'll see what happens, and we'll see if it changes its profile flavour out of interest. And then what we're going to do as well is then we'll have just some vinegar straight out of the bottle, and we'll put that into just another bottle, same process, a bit of cloth on top with an elastic band, and we'll just leave that and see if a mother naturally forms in the bottom of the vinegar, just out of interest. So obviously I'm kind of thinking that the one with the mother already in it, that will take less time, but let's see how long it takes to form a mother in the with just some malt vinegar. Now, I was kind of thinking, because it's lost its acidity, then is it just a case of the vinegar has just watered itself down? Will we get the same kind of flavour profiles through a watered down malt vinegar? So we can just take some malt vinegar, we can just add a little bit of water to it, just to lower the acidity level in it. And then, because it's not as acidic, will we pick up on will we pick up on any kind of flavours that are masked by the sheer acidity of it? You know, it's harsh, to say the least. So just water the vinegar down, and does it taste any different? Little bit. How does this taste? So a clean spoon. No, there's a lot more going on in there than there. Although it's kind of not that dissimilar. So just by simply watering it down a little bit, we kind of change the flavour profile. So you don't need to see me doing it. We just can come back in a few months' time and what we call it, and kind of see what kind of progress we've kind of got. Yeah, so I will put things in bottles. I don't need to mark on them what they are, but I'll put some things in bottles, and then we're back in the next bit of the video, and we'll kind of see if anything has happened. Have we created a interesting taste in vinegar through malt vinegar? Because this stuff's cheap. This will be 40p. It's just the cheap stuff from the supermarket. So can we change it into something that costs a lot more expensive? So then we have some in the cupboard. So this is like same supermarket, so it's our Lidl. This is apple cider vinegar, and that's 500 milliliters, and that's about £2, whereas that's about 40p. So can we change something like that, that's 40p, into something like that with just a little bit of time? And generally, that's where a lot of the flavour things comes from. Like wine tastes better when it's 2 years old than it did when it was freshly made. That was just me putting things back in the cupboard. So generally, time is what develops flavour through fermentation, or simple aging or drying, other sort of things. That's how you develop flavour. So you kind of think, well, you're not saving yourself that much money, but interesting experiment. And if it's interesting, I kind of thought-provoking, then I want to have a go at it. Been about 2 weeks. So this is the one that I already had that I put the vinegar mother in from the vinegar and the older vinegar, and a mother, well, I'm presuming it's a mother, formed on the top, and it's fallen down to the bottom of the bottle. You can't see it, but it's in there. It's in there. You have to trust me on that one. We'll give it a bit of taste over here. But it's only been what, 3 weeks, something like that, and that mother formed. So how does that vinegar taste? Still vinegary, but just not quite as much. So this is going to be like a long-term project. But we know now that a mother will form in about 3 weeks. Now this is the other vinegar, which was fresh vinegar that didn't put any mother in it, and we can see from the top of that there is a mother forming there. I don't think we'll be able to fish any of that out. I don't think I've got anything that'll be able to grab that. So it's definitely there. That might give you a better view. Where can we see it? I've changed the lights, the underlights in the kitchen, so it's a bit brighter in the kitchen. So that's just not showing up. But there's definitely a mother in the top of that, and that's after about 3 weeks. So we'll carry on this project and we'll kind of see what happens. But it's no way tastes like this one, which was the. I'll give that a taste, see if that's changed. Well, there's no way that they are tasting like this one yet. Do you know, that's such an interesting flavour. That's such an interesting thing that's happened to that. What we do need to do is we need to change that lid because it's just started to corrode it. So we'll put a different lid on that. Oh, we should taste this one while we're here, shouldn't we? Change the spoon. Change the spoon. Now I have got 2 oak barrels, small ones. My friends gave me one which was designed for putting whiskey in, not aging it as such, but just kind of like for fancy, like if you had a home bar. So they're giving me this oak barrel, and then I bought an old barrel from a brewery, which will hold about 20 litres. And I'm kind of thinking that maybe what we should do is we should buy a lot of malt vinegar and put it in those barrels. See what happens. That's more vinegary than that one, but that is to be understood that it's going to be more vinegary because that was the old vinegar from the vinegar pots. So, relatively quick update and my kind of thoughts about a few things. But if I do decide to put some vinegar in an oak barrel and malt vinegar in an oak barrel and mature it, that'll be another video, because otherwise this video will go on for years, and that's not what we want. We just kind of want a relatively quick video about what's happening with this vinegar and its mother. Right, so these are the 2 malt vinegars which I'm aging. As you can see, that is a mother that's formed on the top of them. The last one sank, but I just wanted you to see that there is a mother on top of that. So I think we should give these a taste and see what they're up to. So that one scribbled on the top. Oh, so that means that's from the older vinegar that was in the vinegar bottles, and that one is from the vinegar that came out, the fresh vinegar that came out of the ones that the bottle that I just bought. So we'll pause and we'll give it a taste. So I must add that these were started on the 20th of April and we're now on the 1st of July. So what are we talking? May, June, July. Two and a half months ish, something like that. So this is the one that was started with the older vinegar, although I don't think that's going to matter too much. Let's see, the mother's still there. There is a mother at the bottom of the bottle. That's certainly it's still vinegary because I've just coughed, but it's starting to mellow with that. So 2.5 months and it started to mellow. So it's certainly going to be a long process. Now, how does this one do? I'll just give that a quick rinse. Not bother about making myself some washing up. Gently, because I want the mother to go to the top of the. I'm sure it's a mother. I'm sure. No, it's floated down to the bottom. No, down. Stuck to the side of the bottle. That one's mellowed more. And the mother out of that one's wanting to go down to the bottom of the jar. So another a mother might form. So there we go. Is this going to be the end of the experiment? I don't think. Well, where's the other one? I should pause. No, I won't, because I'll carry on talking. So is this the end of the experiment, that we can age and mellow malt vinegar? I think it probably is the end of the experiment. Although that's not to say that I'm not going to let these go further out of interest. You can just see that the mother's stuck to the side of the bottle, and that mother's floating down. So this was the vinegar that originally started off the idea of the experiment, that we could take vinegar that was older and it mellows in flavour. So how does this taste now? Now this hasn't been up into the air, it's had a screw top on it. That's nice. That's nice. It's certainly fruity. You could use that in a salad dressing, that'd be lovely with that. And people would kind of, no one would know what that vinegar was, that it was just cheap malt vinegar. So I think this experiment is coming to an end. There might be I've got a few vinegar experiments on the go. For some reason, I tend to go down a bit of a rabbit hole with experiments. So I do an experiment with vinegar, and then it answers one question, but then gives me another question that I want to kind of inquire about. So I've got quite a few vinegars on the go at the moment. How many have got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six vinegars. No, 7 vinegars. No, 8, 9 different bottles of vinegars on the go at the moment. So 10 if we include that one, because that's 11, because I've got a barrel of malt vinegar which I'm aging as well out of an experiment. So I've got lots of vinegars on the go. So I think this is the end of this video. So we'll quickly sum up our findings. If we want to age some malt vinegar, take it out of the plastic bottle, put it into a glass bowl with a bit of cloth over the top, secured with a elastic band or a bit of cloth or a bit of tape or something like that, just so the air can get to it, and then just leave it out for 2.5 months, and it becomes less harsh and becomes more fruity. So 3 months will probably be better. The process will probably start speeding up now. So I reckon a good marker would be 3 months, and then you start to see a change. And then what you can do is you can take it every couple of weeks or a month, allow it to mature a little bit more until it gets to the stage of maturity that you are happy with, the flavour that you're happy with, and then put a proper cap on it to stop that aging process. And I think that will stop the aging process. I think so, because when it's no longer open to fresh air, it will stop aging. Maybe aging is the wrong kind of word, but it makes a 35 pence for, I've got some, yeah, so this is 35 pence from the supermarket, and there's 568 millilitres. Turn the 35 pence product into something that's a lot more interesting, whereas opposed to if we take something like I have got some malt vinegar, we've got some organic cider vinegar, and that's £2. So, and there's less in it, so that's about £2, and it's got a mother in it, all that kind of stuff, and that is nicer than malt vinegar. However, if we age our malt vinegar for 3 months, it starts to become a nicer product for 1/6 of the price, and an interesting experiment. So I think that's it. I don't know what kind of like the optimum length of time will be to mature it. I will know when I've been faffing around with this barrel of malt vinegar, and also we'll keep these on the go. But I think just as it can go on forever. My videos can go on forever, and I don't kind of. I like some projects that kind of go on and on and on and on, but at some stage I need to make some kind of video about it. Otherwise, it's just for my own interest rather than actually making a video about it and throwing the knowledge out there in the world. So it works. We can mature malt vinegar, turns it into a nice product. It takes about 3 months, but you don't have to do much work. So therefore, a success.